Welcome back to the Orange Zone, presented by Metro Mattress here on NBC3. And of course, we have Coach Autry doing something that no other Syracuse Orange basketball show will do for you. Coach, going inside the action tonight. We're asking what happens to the zone. First, when we've got Rakeem Christmas, the senior center, in there, and then when he gets into foul trouble, which big men often do, what happens when Chris McCullough is in there? Let's take a look now, going inside the action with Coach Autry. And Coach, we'll start with Rock in the middle. What do you see? This is from Sunday's game.
Well, you know, Louisiana Tech, good team, perimeter guys, and they got guys that can drive the ball. So, you can see Rock right now just kind of communicate with everybody because he's familiar. He plays the pass, which is what we talked about, and Trevor did a good job of rotating. So the biggest thing is when, with Rock, when he's in there, he has a feel for it. And he's communicating. He's talking to these guys, letting them know where players are at. He did a great job of not kind of coming up already high to leave him for that open layup. So that was played perfectly. And this play right here, this is one of the hardest plays to stop, but Rock was in position. The guy ran right into him. I think Mike Benajay at this point could have made a better read to stop him a little bit early, but Rock is right there. The one thing about we got lucky with that, we normally have him wall up.
Right.
He kind of has his hands down, and those are some of the fouls that he gets sometimes, which is tough. But there, he was in the right place. We got fortunate they didn't call that foul. Okay, now here we got Chris in the middle, and you can see a little bit differently. Just he's kind of walking a little bit right now, but not a lot of communication. So that's the difference between experience and inexperience. But he does a good job. He stays moving. Right here, he's a little bit too low. He should stop that drive a little bit higher, and he was sideways. So again, we got fortunate that the referee didn't call that play, call that foul. But that's the biggest thing. He's walking a little bit, and you have to be active. And I don't really see a lot of communication right here. But again, he does a good job. They get his hand on it. He's coming. He does a good job of kind of not letting him turn that corner.
Right.
All right. And now on his penetration, he needs to be moving. He really probably should have stopped the ball right there, but he gets in the line of the driver and kind of puts his hands up. He has 7'2" arms, so
that'll always help.
That'll help too. So, but he did a good job here. He gets off the screen, doesn't get screened, which is good. He's talking, he's looking, he comes up in the stance, ready to play again, sideways. We got fortunate on these,
right? Because
those could have been fouls as well. So, you want to chest those guys up, but again, he gets off the screen, he's moving now, he's a little bit more active in this clip, and that's a good thing, and activity is always good. And he comes up and he's down, he can played it right because that guy was left-handed, so he came up on his left-hand, his strong side. So that was a good scout report on that part.
And of course now we have Villanova. This is video from last year's game against Villanova. How do they typically attack the zone as we see here?
Well, they get a lot of motion, and Villanova normally has 4 guys that can shoot the ball.
Oh, absolutely.
So at any point, they got guys that can shoot. Now, I mean, if you look at this shot right here, this is almost textbook defensively. I mean, he shoots it almost at half court. But you got to pay attention, I think, on that play again. Just watching it in slow motion, it's easily to see. Tyler might have got too low back then, but the game happens so fast,
right?
You can't read those things. But that's a tough shot, and if they making those shots, you would like to think, as the game goes on and they get up and down, like those shots are not high percentage shots.
We're watching video from last year, of course. What's the biggest difference between last year's zone and this year's? Obviously, there's a difference when you had a freshman and Chris in there if Rakeem Christmas is out, but what would that be the biggest difference?
I mean, the biggest difference is just the inexperience.
Okay.
And them, playing it and getting in game repetition. Jeremy and CJ, those guys were veterans. They had 2 years under their belt, and they can, some of the stuff that you teach, then in the game you have to be kind of reactive and react and make reads, and that's what these guys don't have yet. And it's coming along. They're starting to make better plays as we play more games. So that's the biggest difference, just the inexperience.
Absolutely, the experience will continue to grow. Hopefully, it'll peak in March, right, Coach?
Oh yeah, hopefully it'll peak Saturday.
Well, I like the way you think too, Coach. Thank you so much for that.